Hello, San Francisco, and welcome once again to the Angelic Troublemakers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and on today's program, 98,000 thank yous. I don't know how else to say thank you uh, to the supporters of my ballot measure, Proposition I. Even though we lost, um, I can't thank you enough. But what am I thanking you for? I'm thanking you for mainly, I believe that the 98,000 people who voted yes on Proposition I in the June 5 election actually read the measure. And for that, I'm saying thank you. Now, I'm sure that common sense will prevail in my fight to establish something here in San Francisco concerning uh, how we treat our neighbors. But I need to explain a little bit about it in my thank you to all of you who supported me, to where um, people understand Allen ain't giving up one bit on stopping the Golden State Warriors from playing one basketball game at the Chase Center, which is being built at 3rd and 16th Street here in San Francisco. I do not believe that arena will be used for Warrior basketball. That is not a promise. That is a prophecy. And in stating, where this all happened and how it come together, you know, I I'm just so thankful for the support that I have received throughout this campaign. Now, I must say that it was 2 years ago that I was a guest on a SF Commons program, um, and that was the start of where I got this program. And so, in that program, I talked about the Warriors Arena project. And, excuse me, and I knew it was a bad idea, and I could not wait to share my opinion with somebody. Well, this gentleman by the name of Kenny Johnson, um, he heard my objections to this Warriors Arena project, and he asked me to come on his program, which was titled at the time the Real Stimulus Package. And I can't thank the man enough because of all that he, did in helping me get this program. However, in doing all of this, he basically, I guess he got me on the runway, and then I started, you know, going on and telling my story and getting support. And it was that first program that somebody saw, and that person ended up putting up $50,000 for the campaign, which was done a year later. Now, sure, there was an awful lot of things behind the scene, good and bad, that I just can't go into. But the fact of the matter is um, where I thought that we had a real good chance of winning, I definitely know why we lost. And I'm telling you, the 131,000 votes against the proposition, I cannot be convinced that these people actually read the measure and voted the way they did. including all members of the Board of Supervisors and Mayor London Breed. Now, I understand that they were trying to protect their own uh, interests and their cover up for their own mistake by not supporting the ballot measure, but we'll get to that a little bit. But I'm saying that when you really look at it, I believe that, as our campaign theme was, a world class city helps its neighbors. It does not help itself to its neighbors' jewels. So to be outraged that the city of San Francisco uh, operated in covetous manner to bring the Warriors over to the city, and they falsified documents. They went to court and tricked the judge and believing everything's going to be all right, and they got what they wanted. And but when you look at the ballot measure, when I titled the ballot measure "Thou Shall Not Covet," I knew, based on the rules, that the city attorney had the option to give another title. That title was Relocation of Professional Sports Teams, which basically is how it reads. However, when the 131,000 people who voted no against this, they basically were voting, "Thou shalt covet anything that belongs to your neighbor." The scripture in the Bible, which is one of the 10 Commandments, where it says, "Thou shalt covet," when it starts to mention the thing that your neighbor has in that scripture, it says, "Thou shalt not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor." Now, people can say what they want about, well, did the Warriors really belong to Oakland? I say yes. Um, but going a little further, common sense says if San Francisco has a $10 billion a year tourism industry and Oakland has an $800 million a year tourism industry, why are we taking from Oakland when we have so much already? But to put that in further perspective, consider this: the $800 million tourism industry that Oakland has, San Francisco is receiving $700 million of that 10 billion as tax revenue. So we are receiving in tax revenue what Oakland is receiving overall, far as industry, and we're 11 miles away. Something's not right. San Francisco State professor did a study in an Oakland magazine, and he determined 805 jobs will be lost with the Warriors move over to San Francisco, and $73 million a year in economic energy would be lost. Or why are we taking from Oakland 805 jobs? Now, I personally believe that Oakland will bounce back from this situation, even if it was to go through, which I say it won't. But here's my point. For San Francisco to be party to taking from Oakland, consider Oakland taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Well, if Oakland is taking 2 steps forward, why would San Francisco even be interested in it taking one step back. It doesn't make any sense. And when you look at the aspect of what did Oakland do to San Francisco to be treated in such a disrespectful manner? San Francisco did not, would not, in 1971, would not build the Warriors an arena, which is the reason why they left the city. And so, for 47 plus years, Oakland has showed the Warriors so much love. So, why in the world, if all of that love has been shown, right now, as I speak, the Golden State Warriors are trying to get out of paying between $40 and $50 million in Oracle Arena bond debt? This is an arbitration hearing that began earlier this week, and it should be wrapped up in a week or so. But the fact of the matter is regardless of whether they win or lose, the point is this the way to treat the city that has been so good to the Warriors? The Warriors were purchased in 2010 for $450 million. Their current value, $2.6 billion. So, with all of the good fortune, success, blessings, are you trying to stiff Oakland for $40 million, Golden State Warriors? And the people who voted yes on Proposition I said this is not the way San Francisco operates. We're not a part of that. It's un-San Franciscan, in my opinion. And so I thank you, 98,000 of you who supported my ballot measure. And believe me, I am not going to give up. This situation has got to be resolved in a manner that both sides are happy. I claim that that's going to happen. We know that the building is more than half built, and so the logical question is, what's going to happen to the building? Well, I happen to know what the building's going to be used for. And I can't wait to share with San Francisco and the Golden State Warriors how I think they'll like what I say the structure is going to be used for. But I am determined to make it clear, as God gives me the strength and have people come my way to help me, because I will need help, that this project will not succeed as planned. It is God's plan that's going to prevail. And I am excited about it. Now, I have to say that there will be some things that, you have to deal with. Can you imagine a 10-year-old San Francisco boy who's a basketball fan making sense out of the fact that some 61-year-old black guy stopped his Warriors from coming to San Francisco? Hey, I'm going to have to deal with that. And there's an awful lot of people who are not going to see any sense in what I'm up to. But I'm telling you, if God is not in it, I don't want it to succeed. I claim God is in this. God is telling me, Alan, I want you to stop this project and I want you to do such and such and such and such, which I'm not mentioning, and uh, things will be turned around because God is not into this. You know, there's scriptures, other scriptures in the Bible that talk about how to treat your neighbor. And I'm saying that what San Francisco is doing to the city of Oakland or the East Bay community is not right. And God is not going to bless it. Now, a lot of people will think, well, wait a minute. Why is God concerned about sports? You know, I've heard that so long, and it's such a tired thing. You know, mainly I've heard it in football settings where people get upset. they they get bent out of shape because somebody's praying on this side of the field. Oh, make that field goal, and then the other teams on the other side, on the other side, are praying miss the field goal. Which one? Which prayer is God going to answer? Meaning, they're saying that God ain't interested in the outcome of a football game. I disagree. You know, when you look at a lot of people in sports and they brag, mainly the people who are commenting on the athletes, they use the term God given talent. I believe in that. You know, a lot of the people who have these exceptional abilities in sports, music, business, arts, down the line, science, I think it's God given talent. And so for some people to say, well, God's not interested in sports, and then you hear people talk about, oh, he has God given talent. Well, make up your mind. I'm saying that God is concerned. And when you really look at it, if you read the ballot measure, 500 words, it's online somewhere, you will see that I've described the fact that how sports has unified so many people. It has broken down racial barriers. And the fact that I claim that this move from the Warriors moving from Oakland to San Francisco, which, let me say it, restate that, Warriors moving from a black community in Oakland to a white community in San Francisco is a racist issue also. I'm saying that there was an awful lot of indifference. Oh, we don't care about Oakland. On San Francisco side that defies logic. But when you see that sports has really brought people together and broken down the racial barriers, I see one being put right back up. Now, how can sports, which has been breaking down racial barriers, the business side of sports, build back up those racial barriers that have been broken? How about this? Let's say that all white people had all of the talent in the NBA. I can guarantee you there would be a bigger barrier racially and also the fear that whites have had of blacks coming into the sport is why they were treated so rough, because they figured, I see something here. We can't let those Negroes in here and have what we have and outdo us. Well, God saw a way around it. Some of these athletes are so good at what they did, people just realize, hey, just like us, meaning white folks. And so the fact that we have a situation where uh, the NBA, which is definitely cannot operate if it is shown to be a discriminatory business, corporation, in such a blatant fashion, and have profits continue to rise. It's not going to happen like that. What I'm saying to you people is, at some point, all of the racism that is connected to this arena project is going to come forth. Now, I can't trust the Chronicle and the Examiner to help bring this forth. Why? They're in bed with the Warriors. But I'm saying the 98,000 people who have voted in support of yes, and thou shalt not covet, are going to see victory off of the defeat in the June election. And it's not going to be that too far off. Now, I have to confess a little something, that my time here is running out. I have a problem physically that I have to have taken care of. And so, in the next couple of weeks, I may be no longer on the air. But I'm telling you, I am determined, even with this pending surgery that I need. No, it's nothing like I'm going to die or anything like that. Not life threatening, but it's a pain issue. And so, while I'm going to be dealing with some other issues, hey, you can rest assured, if you see me on um, the San Francisco government TV program, what is it called? SF Gov TV, during the 2 minute portion of the Board of Supervisors meetings, I'm building my case. I started a few weeks ago telling egregious stories, excuse me, of racism perpetrated by San Francisco leadership, and it's going to get hot in the few weeks coming up. And it's going to be used all to basically do what I see is needed to set the record straight. That if you're going to treat your neighbor a certain way, there's repercussions if it ain't godly. And I'm saying that this move of the Warriors coming to San Francisco is ungodly. Consider this: San Francisco has 30 billionaires living in the city. If we wanted a basketball team that bad, we should have tapped our own billionaires instead of doing the shenanigans that went on to bring the Warriors over here. And so I am very confident. And hey, I'm invested. This issue is about what I believe San Francisco is and is not. And if San Francisco is the racist city that I see it turning into, I also see that God, with his help in this particular project, I'll call it, is going to tell the racists of San Francisco leadership, back off. You are not going to disrespect the black community of San Francisco and be rewarded the NBA's best team. It just doesn't happen that way. And you're not going to disrespect the black people of San Francisco and disrespect the black community of Oakland. It's not going to happen that way. I'm saying to you people, listen to me. I'm saying that this is a God thing. And if you don't believe in God, well, okay. And even once I declare victory here in the name of God, that's not going to turn you around, probably. Oh, well, that just happened. Well, okay, if you say so. But the fact of the matter is the will of the Lord will prevail in this situation. And I believe that it will be. There's a lot of scrambling around in Oakland to make sure that Oracle Arena debt issue, water under the bridge, because the Warriors are going to pay that debt. And if an arbitration judge doesn't do it, the judge of judges will have them pay that debt. This is not right. And shame on you, San Francisco, for the fact that our leadership all voted in support of the Warriors stiffing the city of Oakland for $40 million just so we can have the Warriors basketball franchise. Oh, please, give me a break. This is a no-brainer. And for it to take so long, hey, I'm working on God's time, not Alan's time. Yes, I wanted it done yesterday. Well, God doesn't work that way. And I've learned over the time, hey, you're driving this ship, you're guiding this ship. And I definitely appreciate all of the people who have come together to express their support for me, the many calls that I've had, emails, and just people who have seen me on the street and have told me, yeah, I like what you're doing. Well, I'm not finished. And so the fact of the matter is though I may not be here too much longer doing these programs, I really can't thank San Francisco enough for its help in letting me know that I'm not all that crazy. Because I remember after our defeat, someone said, oh, Alan, you lost because it was a frivolous ballot measure. But then I looked at the totals. You don't call something frivolous when you get 98,000 votes of support. So there's no reason for me to give up. I have some backing. Could use some financial backing, but that's another story. But the fact of the matter is I believe God is going to see this through. Until next time, God bless.